Welcome back. It seems that there's been a hit and run. We should go and investigate the aftermath.
I was telling the truth about Fitzy, mister.
Okay, calm down. Now tell me what happened.
I was standing here, minding me own business, when I saw this beautiful red sports car coming up over the hill. Would you look at that, says I, and I going over to take a closer look. Next thing, Fitzy comes tearing out of the pub and nearly knocks me on my ass, but the car just flies at him. It was too fast for poor old Fitzy, and hit him an awful wallop. He goes flying up on top. Jesus, says I thought he was a goner.
Christ.
Next thing, the driver hops out, and I couldn't believe my eyes. He was dressed like a bloody pixie.
A pixie, you say? My, that is interesting.
Did this pixie have a scar on his cheek?
I couldn't see. He was wearing a stupid mask. Are you a special agent?
Sorry to disappoint you, kid, but I'm not. Did Fitzgerald drop anything when he was hit?
I didn't see. It all happened so fast.
See you later, kid.
Okay, mister.
If he did happen to drop his package, it would have landed nearby. Maybe down this grate?
I tugged at the trapdoor, but it was locked from the inside.
Oh well, back inside we go. Hey, the guy was telling the truth.
Excuse me.
Call the police.
Yes, sir?
Do you know Sean Fitzgerald very well?
I know him enough not to sell him more than 2 pints. He's like a kid when he gets a few beers inside him.
I'm not surprised. He's on medication for his nerves.
He was.
There's nothing wrong with his nerves. He's just screwy.
That's a little strange. Just kind of not bothering to mention the whole accident. Okay, fine.
May I have another beer, please?
Certainly, sir. Same again?
Yeah, please. How is this stuff made?
That's the secret of the master brewer, sir. Each barrel is lovingly manhandled in time-honoured fashion, suspended on skillfully tied ropes of the finest hemp, lowered into the cellar utilising the forces of original gravity, like manna from heaven.
Let's get wasted. Nice.
Thanks.
What we need to do is think of a way to get down into the beer cellar. That grate goes. What if we were to cause a problem with the beer pump? I reckon that box outside by the door might have something to do with the beer pumps. Don't ask me how. Think of it as intuition. Or the fact that I've played through this game about 5 times before.
The plastic cover had been smashed by the pixie's car, revealing a switch. I pushed the switch down, but in doing so it snapped off in my hand.
Well, job done. Let's get another beer. Yeah, old dude's got another wire. Wonder how many of those he has.
Excuse me.
Yes, sir?
Hey, how about another drink?
Fill her up.
See him again?
Do you serve cocktails?
I'll serve anyone with manners. And money.
No, I'm serious. Have you considered turning McDevitt's into a cocktail bar? Cocktails are chic, cool, and popular with younger drinkers.
What? Kids in the bar? Can you imagine it? Pinball, pimples, and puke.
Right, I get the picture. I'll settle for a glass of stout.
Damn right you will, and you'll like it.
I'm sorry, but the pump appears to be broken.
You
I
don't
can
say.
fix it for you.
I don't think so. This is a job for a professional electrician. Oh well, at least the glass washer is still working. It's not my dear, is it?
Shit's breaking all over the place. But it just so happens we have this.
It just so happens
Aha.
I'm an electrician. Check out my credentials.
Well, no. Isn't that marvellous? Here's a house bedeviled with faulty wiring of a wayward nature. Here's you, an electric man, with a little plastic card to prove it. I still want to see what you can do before I let you touch me beer pumps. You can make a start on the glass washer. And when you finish that, will you take a look at the pumps?
Alright, forward progress. Let's have a look.
I couldn't see anything obviously wrong with the machine. I figured it must be the wiring.
Here's the plug.
It was an electrical plug attached to the glass washer. I used all my knowledge of electrical engineering to examine the plug. Seemed fine to me.
Well, you're useless, aren't you, George? It's probably just the fuse. 99% of the time, it's usually just the fuse. This piece of wire we have. What if we were to do something really stupid and replace the fuse with a piece of wire? Maybe that would work.
I replaced the fuse with a piece of wire. I knew it was dangerous, but I was desperate enough to disregard everything I knew about standard safety precautions.
You rebel.
Excuse me, Mr. Leary. I fixed your glass washer, no problem.
Bingo! And a blessing to all the saints. A free half pint to that man, on the house. Now, could you take a look at the beer pumps?
Well, I guess so, but I'm not making any promises.
If you can't fix them, I'll have a riot on me hands.
The pumps are in the cellar, right?
That's right. You'll find a flashlight down there somewhere.
What a dumb place to store a flashlight. A dark cellar. The only way I was going to find anything down there was to feel around.
There's something here, but I can't quite see what it is. There's a nice useful handle here.
My hand closed on a long metal rod. I pushed the lever and heard the grating of metal, but nothing appeared to happen.
That probably means the grate on the street is unlocked. We should go up and open it. And come back down. Let's try this again. Bingo.
I lifted the trap door and an overpowering smell of stale beer rose from the cellar below. I looked down on a stone-tiled floor. way too far to jump.
That wasn't so hard. Oh, shit.
Excuse me.
There was a nasty feeling in my guts I usually associated with light opera. It was Khan. What's the problem?
Did you see what happened here a few minutes ago?
What was that?
A man was involved in an unfortunate accident.
I didn't see anything.
What about the boy?
He doesn't know anything either. The kid, well, you know how it is in these rural communities. Not enough genes to go round. I prayed McGuire had the sense to keep his mouth shut. Was the guy hurt bad?
He's been taken care of, but he thinks he dropped a small parcel. You didn't happen to find it, did you?
If I had, I would have taken it to the police.
Of course. Thank you.
Yikes. Well, luckily he left. Now, let's have a proper look around. Back down we go.
Then I noticed a flash of light. Something sparkling beneath the open trapdoor.
Score.
It was Peagram's gem, all right. A large, uncut blue stone. As I held it aloft, I realized the fascination it could command. I guess I was already under its spell.
Did you find it?
What?
Whatever you was looking for.
Yeah. Listen, McGuire. I want you to keep this to yourself.
No problemo. Just chuck us up a crate of lager.
No way! You're not old enough.
We can sell it and make some cash.
Forget it, kid. I couldn't betray Mr. Leary's trust.
I could, for sure. That old misery guts deserves it.
If you want to do me a favor, keep a lookout for that guy in the suit.
Okay. But it'll cost you a packet of chips.
Oh, and shout if you see that Ferrari.
What is it?
It was a calendar with a faded photograph of a prize-winning carp.
Oh, a fish calendar. Classy.
It was a rusty faucet. The faucet creaked, coughed, and spewed out a stream of rusty-colored water. I shut off the faucet as tight as I could, but it kept on dripping.
This faucet will come in useful later, but for now we're going to leave it alone. I think perhaps it's time to visit the castle, don't you? Talked about it enough. Let's actually go there, just up the road.
The farmer's craggy face was set in a mask of aesthetic appreciation. His feet were set in a pair of manure-caked boots. On the back of the cart was a crazily stacked tower of hay bales, leaning precariously against the castle wall. Hi, do you speak English?
Well, no, what if I was to say no? An implication of cognizance shrouded in denial. A pretty poser of a paradox indeed.
I gave him the look I'd perfected when I was 12 and was going to be the greatest hypnotist of all time. It was a killer.
Are you attempting to hypnotize me, or is it the constipation you're suffering?
I was a little out of practice.
What's his book?
Good book?
A book? It's a passport to a world of fantasy and imagination.
Yeah, what's the title?
Creative Shelving for Beginners, the 1978 edition.
What's so cool about home improvement?
There's nothing like it. The resinous autumnal aroma of seasoned wood, the rhythmic rasp of the plane. Ah, no wonder our Lord came to earth as the son of a humble carpenter. I bet he was a wizard with a chisel and a length or two before.
Surely the portrayal of Christ's adoptive family as humble artisans is a symbolic metaphor.
I don't know about that, but I know they were carpenters. Haven't you read the book?
Well, no. But I have seen The Greatest Story Ever Told, and I don't recall Jesus putting up any shelves.
I mean, maybe in his spare time. I mean, we don't know. I mean, there's an awful big gap in that book, you know, from between the age of 12 and 30, so who knows what he got up to.
What can you tell me about the castle?
Not much, I'm sorry to say. Most of its history is long forgotten. Ah, but if these old stones could only speak, what stories they'd tell. Stories to make your toes curl and your blood run cold. You know, this castle is said to be over 600 years old.
Who built the castle?
Mad Phelan, the first lord of Lochmarne. Well, I say lord, but actually he was little more than a village chieftain. He built his castle from the remains of the Templar preceptory.
Do you mind if I climb up your haystack to get into the castle?
What? It'd break your stupid neck for sure. Do you think I'd stand by and see your brains dashed out?
I'd be very careful, and I promise not to sue.
You won't get the chance, not while I'm here to stop you.
Did you happen to see a red sports car down on the road?
I caught a glimpse of a flash of red on the hill and heard the racket. Sure, it was an awful noise. A sports car, you say?
A Ferrari, to be exact.
A racing car? And what was it doing here? The poor fella must have been lost.
Where was the site of the Templar preceptory?
Right here, on Temple Hill. Phelan built right on top of the old wall. It's said that deep beneath these walls, there's a Templar chapel.
Did Pegram discover the chapel?
I don't know. His workers were sworn to secrecy.
Have you seen Professor Pegram?
No, he's packed up and gone.
Do you happen to know where?
Back in England, I suppose.
Do you think Pegram's disappearance is due to the curse?
Look at the facts. He dug up the gem. He disappeared. Bingo. It doesn't take a degree in mathematics to work that one out, does it? You don't have to be a smarty Pythagoras with a calculator.
I guess not.
Pegram has run off with the gem.
The driver of the Ferrari was involved in an accident.
Is that so?
Yeah, he knocked somebody down outside the bar.
What an idiot! How could a thing like that happen?
He was traveling too fast.
So fast, he ran right under the car?
I mean, the car was traveling too fast.
But you'd have thought the idiot could have heard it coming.
I have to
Oh,
go now.
crap. Didn't mean to click that.
Hi, it's me again.
So I see. What now?
Could you imagine if somebody did that in real life? Because, oh, I have to go. Stands there for a couple of seconds staring at you, then just says, hi, it's me again. That would be bizarre.
Maybe you know the guy who was hit by the Ferrari. His name is Sean Fitzgerald.
Oh, I know him all right. That's me nephew, the idiot responsible for the stacking of my hay cart. Was he killed by the car?
Oh no, but he has been abducted.
Well, that's a relief now.
Ah, family love.
Aren't you going to look for your nephew?
What for? From what you say, it's too late.
Well, you could report the matter to the police.
Better not. Besides, what could they do?
Well, they could mount a search.
They have only the one bicycle between them. In a question of superior acceleration, I put me money on the Ferrari.
I think you ought to know exactly what Sean has gotten himself into.
I'm not sure I want to know.
But you're his uncle, his own flesh and blood.
You're right, but what can I do? If I'm not here to guard it, some idiot might try to climb the haystack. What a moral dilemma. Stay here and guard this potentially lethal agricultural construction, or to go off in search of the prodigal nephew, the very man responsible for said hazard? It'll need some thinking about.
Why, there's no problem.
You're right. Why didn't I think of it before? We'll demolish the haystack.
You don't have to demolish the haystack to go look for Sean. I'll stay here in your place and warn anyone who's silly enough to climb it.
Marvelous. I think I should start me inquiries in the bar.
He strode off in the direction of McDevitt's bar, leaving me to contemplate the stack of hay.
I wonder if he actually is going to do any inquiries or if he's just going to start drinking. Probably the latter.
The stack of hay stopped, short of the top of the wall.
Nuts.
Even if I stretched as far as I could, the wall was out of reach. What I needed was a slice or two of Alice's Wonderland. Above my head was a gap in the wall where the massive stones had fallen away.
Ooh, look, there's a crack.
There was a narrow crack between two of the stones where the centuries-old mortar had crumbled away.
Now, if only we could stick something in this crack. Something we could use to stand on. What have we got? What have we got? Ooh.
It was a metal rod with a handle at one end and a short crosspiece at the other.
That'll do nicely. In we go.
I inserted the end of the lifting key in the mortarless crack and gave it a firm shove. It remained lodged in the wall, jutting out to form a step. I tugged at the lifting key and found it was held quite securely.
Good, because here we go. My.
It was the fiercest, meanest-looking old goat I'd ever laid eyes upon. Hey, Billy. The animal fixed on me with an evil glare. Behind the malice and resentment, there was a cool intelligence. How you doing, boy? I felt as threatened as I'd been by the assassin and his goons in Paris.
I'm sure he's fine. I'm sure he won't do anything.
The top of a ladder rose out of the squarely dug hole.
Oh, I was wrong. Get up, you wuss. Well, that's going to be a problem. We can't get too close to the ladder, because that puts us in range of the goat. How do we solve this problem?
It was a rusted piece of iron, maybe part of a plow or something.
What if we could move this closer to the goat and somehow get him tangled on it? How about that? Oh, that doesn't work either. You okay, George? George, you okay? Come on, buddy. Shake it off. There you go. The correct way to solve this puzzle is to walk over to the right, get hit by the goat, and then while you're still in your fooling animation, quickly click on the plough. George will sprint over to it and move it before the goat has another chance. Get himself caught, silly bastard. Ha! Suck it, goat.
The rope by which the goat was tethered had become tangled on the old plowshare.
The first time I played this game, it took me hours to figure that out. Hours. Right, down the ladder we go. George's head is a little bit big in this one. Ooh.
Behind the altar was a carved panel decorated with animals, birds, and plants. I tried in vain to move the panel. There was a pattern of 5 holes arranged on the wall. They'd been drilled there deliberately.
How mysterious.
It was a statue which had fallen from its place on the wall. 5 fingers of stone projected from the back of the carving.
Just put it back, right? Super simple.
The statue was too heavy to lift. It overbalanced into the sand.
Just got more complicated.
As I swung the stone upright, I noticed it had left a pattern of holes in the sand.
What's this over here?
The bench had probably been used by Pegram and his archaeological team. The sack contained a fine white powder.
Cocaine.
As I dipped my fingers into the soft white powder, I realized what it was. Plaster of Paris. I'd used it in kindergarten to make casts of animal paw prints.
Aw, I thought it was cocaine. I was so excited. Plaster. Holes. Plaster. Holes.
I sprinkled the plaster on the sand until the holes were filled. I smoothed the plaster level with the sand. It was my first experience of home improvement.
Now, all we need is some water. Now, how are we going to get water? I know how, but first we need to go back to the pub basement. Or the cellar. A little bit of backtracking involved. This game really needs like a fast travel system. You know, like if you double click on an exit point, it just automatically loads the next screen. But alas, it doesn't. So we just have to watch George walk very slowly. But I guess that's okay. More cinematic this way. Okay. Come on, hurry up. My god, he dawdles. Right, so what we want to do, we want to turn on the tap.
The faucet creaked.
Yes, I know, we've heard it. Take the towel we've got earlier.
It was a rectangle of toweling printed with the words, Nagopolian stout builds body.
Soak it under the tap. However, there's a gimmick to this puzzle. The towel will slowly dry out after we wet it, and if we don't get back to the plaster in time, there won't be enough water left in the towel to pour over it. So we've got to do this quickly.
I held the towel under the faucet and soaked it with water.
Okay. Quickly. Okay. I'm just going to very, very quickly walk back to the castle. I mean, at least run, George, seriously. You can't give me a quick travel, at least give me a run. Something. Anything. Ugh. Nope, he's just going to stroll at a leisurely pace, even though time is of the essence. Goat's still stuck. Sucker. Alright. I think the time limit on this thing is like 2 minutes, so it's pretty strict. There we go.
The trickle of water was quickly absorbed by the plaster. I eased the solid piece of plaster from the sand. Underneath, it had formed a perfect copy of the statue.
Wow, that set quickly. I mean, normally it takes plaster like a little while to set, but damn, that thing's like near enough instant.
The hardened plaster cast fitted snugly into the 5 matching sockets. There was a soft thud, then silence.
Bingo.
A flight of stairs led down into darkness.
It's a very FMV heavy episode. Normally this game's pretty sparse with the cutscenes. Oh, mysterious.
So, where did you stay last night?
At McDevitt's, I got to drinking with Doyle and a couple of the guys.
That explains why you look so ill today. Did you get any sleep at all?
Not much. I had to share the room with another guy.
Did he snore?
Hardly. He was dead. Then Leary woke me in the middle of the night to help bail out the cellar.
The cellar was flooded?
Yeah, some idiot had left the faucet running.
And you say Pegram has disappeared?
Without a trace. But my visit wasn't a complete waste of time.
Pegram's gem?
The Templars gem. Whoever Jacques Marquet is, he's in for a disappointment.
Jacques Marquet?
He's the guy who should have collected the gem from Fitzgerald.
I've been reading about Pegram in this magazine.
The media got its claws on him.
Yeah, if I was his agent, I'd get him to lose the pipe.
That dig must have been pretty important to him. He resigned his chair at Durham University to go to Ireland. And now he's disappeared. See what you can find out about Professor Pegram.
I'll speak to the university. What are your plans?
I want to find out who, what, or where Montfaucon was. All I've got to go by is the name and a picture of a hanged man.
Oh, by the way, a quick note. If you were considerate enough to turn off the faucet before leaving with the wet towel, that piece of dialogue between George and Nicole would be slightly different upon your return. One of those little details that I quite like about this game. It makes note of the little things you do. Of course, because I left the tap running, he mentioned that the basement got flooded because, quote, some idiot left the faucet running.
What do you know about Professor Pegram?
I've seen a television program, Pegram's Past. He's written a book, The Crusader Families of Ireland.
He's a TV personality as well, is he?
Do you want to look after the gem?
No, Josh. I'd be too tempted to sell it.
Look, Nico, a handful of plaster.
Yeah. Why is it that men never really grow up?
What's your problem, sister?
Your pockets stuffed with useless junk like little boys.
You never know when useless junk might come in handy. Let's take another look at the manuscript. That's the tripod in the Crew Museum. That's the gem that Pegram found in Lochmarne. There's a woman looking at her reflection in a mirror, but the reflection has 3 hideous faces. The Night Scroll bears a phrase in Latin. Through my teachings, you will be enlightened. There's a guy working on a loom. There's a guy with a sword and a bull. Between them is a gem supported by a tripod.
Think we're gonna have to go and talk to the police. Try and get some info.
I can't sit here all day, much as I'd like to.
Okay. Don't forget to look for Lopinor at the Kron Museum. And why don't you see if Rosso has heard anything?
Way ahead of you.
Okay. Anything else I can do for you while I'm out? Shopping, a trip to the laundromat?
Just take care of yourself.
Right, I think that's enough for this episode. Next episode, we'll go pay Rosso a visit, try and pump him for information.